So I think in education also, I always feel that I think what Anupama also started with is maybe is the benchmarking part. That I often say that when there's a law kind of thing in this country in different states where till 5th or 8th grade you actually do not have to write any exam, no examination and all. So I mean the fact remains that in this country, if there is a school in the range of 4 or 5 kilometers of your house, you're actually born 8th standard pass. So if on that parameter we are working, or if we are calling the private schools, we call private schools public schools in this country. So I think it's all about those fundamental and language issues in this country. If we can, all of us, with the support of such kind of data which is coming up, if we can really challenge these perceptions and these thoughts and these realities, actually, it's not just a myth. These are hardcore reality that till 8th grade you do not have to sit in any exam, and in most of the states you're literally born 8th standard pass. We'll talk more about it, and please, you know what we will do in the Q&A in the next maybe 10-15 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll ask basic questions which are applicable to all the panelists. Some of them will answer. But if you have some specific questions with on the specific issue with the specific speaker, please be ready with those questions. We'll have some time for sure. Can I ask Donald you to speak now?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Don Lobo, and I'm from the Chintu Gudia Foundation and Project Tech for Dev. And I've got a slightly different take on it than the previous speakers because we as a project work with NGOs, typically small to medium-sized organizations, and help them implement technology for operations and M&E. The one thing that makes us different is we strongly believe in open source, and for those of you who don't know about open source, the two main characteristics of open source is you can modify and share, and we believe that it's really important that NGOs can use this information and help other NGOs who have similar problems and kind of replicate it across multiple NGOs, and we've been fairly successful in the past couple of years with that. And the other important thing is there's collaboration and community within these ecosystems. And so all of you who have an Android phone, Android is open source, there's Linux, Firefox, WordPress, and a bunch of other open source communities around the world which have been fairly successful, and we believe that the NGO sector can also benefit from all of them. So I'll give you a brief overview of what Project Tech for Dev is, what our approach is, and why we are doing what we are doing, and then I'll wind up with a case study, and then I'll try to link everything together using this. As I said, our current focus is small to medium-sized NGOs. We primarily with budgets of less than 10 crores, and we try to solve a very specific problem for them, primarily using open source technology, primarily trying to reuse solutions that we built for other organizations. And so the overall goal is, after a few years and after a few generations, we want to build platforms that we can implement across many other NGOs. So things like Open Data Kit, which is a data collection platform, etc. But while we do love technology, the one thing when we do evaluate NGOs, we do realize that having a good process is super, super important. Because if an NGO does not have a good process, it's really hard for us to implement technology. And while technology is not a solution, and technology cannot really fix your problems, so most of the NGOs that we actually reject into the program, they never have a good process. At least we don't understand their process. And if you don't have a good process, it's really difficult to enable technology to help you improve something. So the other key thing that we believe as good programmers is we try to be as lazy as possible. So we want to do as little as possible. So we try to do things like really simple, frugal innovation, try to keep things really simple and stupid, try to use things like Google Sheets, Excel, Kobo, Toolbox, and stuff that we can reuse across multiple NGOs, multiple platforms. We like to iterate quickly, try to prototype stuff and keep going and experiment with the NGOs, see what works, see what does not work, and try to do a good match to what their needs are. So if I had to give you one message to take away from this talk, it would be, like, before you do anything, right, do your research. Talk to other NGOs in the same space. See who's done what and what you can build from them. Because Because many a times we see so much work being duplicated and replicated across different NGOs. So one of our big goals is, let's try to build on existing solutions rather than rebuild everything. So we never ever like to reinvent the wheel. So now I'll tie all this back together as to how we did it with Shelter, which is a Pune-based NGO, which is in sanitation and housing. It's a really long process. We've been working with them for the past 3 to 4 years, and it was one of our Project Tech for Dev pilot programs. They've got this model called the One Home, One Toilet. When they go into an area, typically a slum area, they do a quick overview of that area using QGIS and Google Earth, and do mapping of the entire slum area, including the sanitation pipes, the sewage pipes, water pipes, sewage pipes, etc. Then they go in and do quick rapid surveys of each individual household, get a better idea of the slum. And then they go in and do also detailed surveys and community mobilization and various other things. And ultimately what comes about is they decide who they're going to implement, do the implementation with, where they're going to build their toilet, and then they send in their material, and so they've got all these processes, and over a period of time, we worked with them to implement small things and started linking all their projects together, and now they have a complete end-to-end system. And in the end, you get stats like these, like where they can serve multiple millions of people. Some of the open source tools that we used for this included Kobo, Python, Django, Superset, BERT, Docker. So these are some of the random tools that we used. So in case you are interested in building on some of the work that we've done, all of our information is there on our website at chintugudia.org, and feel free to reach out to us at techfordev@chintugudia.org in case you're interested in any of our models, you want to help support us, fund us, just talk to us out here. Cool, thank you so much.
Nice.